just like every other meeting. We're going to call the McLean County Zoning Board to order. Will the secretary call the roll?
Mary Beth Taylor, just raise your hand if you're here.
I'm here.
Brian Bangert,
Here.
Michael Kurtz,
Here.
Rick Dean, Rick Dean is raising his hand. I see him here.
Here.
Julia Turner,
Here.
Drake Zimmerman, Jim Finnegan,
Here.
This is a meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. If people have want to give testimony, they were notified that they should send us written testimony that by last Friday, and we would present it during the hearing. We didn't receive any. However, if you have a desire to speak to this board during this public hearing when it's time for public comment, you may call in at 309-888-5160, and we will try to include your testimony in this presentation. Thank you, Jim.
Okay. Has everyone looked at last month's meetings, or I think it was 2 months ago's meetings? About minutes for the meeting.
I move that they be accepted as written.
Second.
So we have a motion by Kurtz, a second by Turner. Do we have a roll call vote?
Turner,
Yes.
Bangert,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
did I say Turner before I meant Taylor? Turner,
Finally.
Taylor, yes.
okay, Taylor, yes, thank you. Zimmerman absent. Finnegan,
Yes,
okay.
I think the motion passed. And we do have a quorum. And are we going to skip the thing about the appearance by members of the public to speak on the agenda that are not here? You already kind of covered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
To note that Drake Zimmerman is here now.
Yeah, I finally found the connection.
We'll make a note that Drake has joined the meeting.
I will note that he's present. Thank you. Welcome, Drake.
Glad to make it.
So I think we're ready for the first case. Well, you want to be affirmed? We're going to affirm the staff at this time. Do you solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that the testimony you give in this case now and hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, or you suffer the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Okay, will the secretary call the first case?
This is case number ZA-20-02, application of Keith Morgan for a text amendment of the zoning ordinance of the Code of McLean County, Chapter 350, Section 350-43 RR, parentheses 1, use standards, to allow employment of not more than 4 other persons rather than not more than 1 other person who is not a bona fide resident of such single-family dwelling in a rural home-based off-premises business. Public notice of this public paper was published in the Pantograph, and the applicant has paid the publication cost.
I guess,
Daryl's getting up the application that
Okay.
is at this point. This is the application, which I would ordinarily pass to you, but it's in front of you here instead. And the application then includes the changing of the number of employees allowed. That was included in the staff report that I had attached and sent to you as well. And the next document is a communication from Keith Morgan, which I had attached to your staff report, so you have it in your packet. And then there is my staff report, which recommends that it meets the I'll read the staff report at this point. A rural home-based off-premises business is allowed by special use in the agriculture district on properties with a minimum of 40 acres in area. The proposed amendment would allow farm owners to diversify their operations, continue to strengthen the county's policy of farmland preservation, would help conserve property values, and would not likely be detrimental to or endanger the health, safety, morals, comfort, or welfare of the public. Staff recommends approval of the proposed text amendment. And then the second page, which is has been distributed to you all, shows the basic changes, and that's all in this parenthesis number 1 where the changes are taking place. But this includes the whole section that refers to rural home-based off-premises businesses. That's all I have, sir.
okay, at this time, would Mr. Morgan, would you like to make an opening statement?
Hello, can you hear me?
Speak up, just speak up.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm unmuted, I think. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Okay. My statement, I guess, is we're asking for more
One
than,
second, please. Mr. Finnegan, would you please swear him in?
Okay, sorry about that. Would you solemnly, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in this case now in hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes.
I know you good enough. I knew that I didn't have to do that.
Thank you.
Go ahead, you can make an opening statement now.
I merely am asking for the opportunity to employ more people in the office, thereby going from 1 to 4. Yeah, and the reason being the business has grown and we need more help. Were you able to hear me, Jim?
I can hear you just fine. You got some more to say, or is that it?
But I don't really have a lot more to say. Just need more people. Yes,
As we get older, we all need more people.
I need a lot of help.
Okay. Would anyone on the zoning board have questions of this witness? Anyone have questions? No, they're all saying no. So you want to make a closing statement?
I want to say thank you very much.
That's a good move. Thank you. This part of the hearing is closed and we can deliberate on the case.
Okay. Anything else you need from me at this point?
I don't think so. I think you can probably mute your mic if you're done.
Okay. Thank you.
So at this point, does anyone have a question or talk about this case, or should we just move on and go for approval?
Yep, this is Rick, and knowing how much help Keith needs, I think it's appropriate that we would acknowledge this request.
Well, Phil's already read it, and I think we've already looked through it.
I
I think
move
we can
that,
probably,
this is Mike, I'd move that we recommend approval of ZA 20-02.
This is Rick, I'd second that.
okay, we have a motion by Kurtz, a second by Dean. Could we have a roll call vote?
Taylor,
Yes, yes.
Bangert,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes,
Dean,
Yes,
Turner,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Finnegan.
Yes. I think it passed.
This will go to the county board for final approval on the 19th of May. The meeting will take place at 5:30 in the evening, and it will be on the consent agenda unless one of the county board members chooses to take it off the consent agenda. And you can call our office the next morning on the 20th, and we'll let you know, and then I'll send you a letter to that effect later after an ordinance is signed and approved. Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
Thank you.
Okay, we move on to the next case, Bill.
Yes, has Craig Hansen shown up yet?
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm here.
Oh, I see you. I hear you. Good. I see you down at the bottom here. We just can't see you visually, but you're on the phone?
Yes. Did you want to see me? I guess I could do that.
Yeah, we would appreciate seeing
All
you.
right, there you go. Anybody need carry out or curbside delivery? Trying to find a quiet place. All right, there we go. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, but we don't have a visual yet.
Oh, gotcha. Oh. How about that? All right.
Yes, sir.
I
Thank
can
you.
see you now. Okay, we ready to move on, Phil?
Yes, we're ready. That looks very good, Craig. This is an application of Craig Hansen for a variance in front setback requirements to allow a proposed porch addition to the Lake Road Inn to be 62 feet from the road center line rather than 80 feet as required in the commercial district. This is on property in the southwest quarter, section 1, township 25 north, range 2 east of the third principal meridian, located in Hudson Township at 25106 north, 1750 East Road, Hudson, Illinois. Public notice of this hearing was published in the Pantograph on April 18, 2020, as provided by law. All the other required notifications have been made, and the applicant has paid the publication costs. As the first exhibit, I'd like to show the application. Daryl, can you put that on? There, you see it in front of you. And the second page is a legal description. And then the third page is the owner is an individual. And the plat map showing where this is located out by Lake Bloomington in Hudson Township. And a zoning map showing that this property is in the commercial district. And this applicant has filled out the standards, which I attached to the staff report that I sent to you, so that was part of your packet. That's attachment number 2. And the next exhibit is a plan showing the front porch deck addition that is proposed for the Lake Road Inn. And the next is the area facing the southeast where this is proposed to be located, and it won't be any closer to the public road than the existing building. And now we'll show the photos of the property. This is an aerial. This is an aerial of the photo. If you go north from there, it goes to the spillway, and if you go west, it goes back over to I-39. Okay. And this is facing north at the intersection, and this is facing south in front of the Lake Road Inn, and this is facing west toward I-39. And this is the side on which the proposed porch deck addition will be located. Next. And this is just a little bit closer look at it. It'll be on the front here. And this is showing the side toward the southwest, the front of the building. And this is across the street toward the building facing northeast. And then this is across the way where Lake Bloomington is located. I'll lead the staff report at this time. The surrounding zoning is commercial district to the north, south, and west, and to the east is R1 single family residence district across the road. The surrounding land use is crop production to the north and west, and to the south are commercial uses, and to the east is wooded and vacant. The applicant proposes to build a front porch addition to the Lake Road Inn restaurant that is 8 feet deep, that would be 8 foot deep and 32 feet wide. The proposed porch will be a safe place for restaurant customers to wait for service. The analysis of the 7 standard are as follows. The physical surrounding shape or topographical conditions of the property will cause a particular hardship to the owner as distinguished from a mere convenience if the strict letter of the regulations were carried out. The front entrance to the restaurant faces southeast toward the intersection of 2 county highways. The existing restaurant building is located closer to both county highways than the zoning ordinance allows. Since the front porch will not extend to the corners of the building, the proposed porch will be no closer to either of the county highways than the existing building. 2, the conditions upon which a petition for a variance is based are unique to the property for which the variance is sought and are not applicable generally to other property within the same zoning classification. Location and design of the restaurant make conditions unique for properties in the commercial district. 3, the purpose of the variance is not based exclusively upon a desire to make more money out of the property. The applicant proposes to provide a safe place for restaurant customers to wait for service. 4, the alleged difficulty or hardship is caused by this ordinance and has not been created by persons presently having an interest in the property. And the Lake Road Inn was built before zoning was adopted in the county and is located closer to the south and east property lines than zoning regulations allow. 5, the granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the property is located. The County Highway Department has signed off on the proposed variance. The proposed porch addition will not cause a sight distance problem for traffic entering along the county highways. The County Health Department has also signed off on this variance. The proposed variance will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent property or substantially increase the congestion of the public street or increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety or substantially diminish or impair property values in the neighborhood. The proposed porch will be no closer to either of the county highways than the existing building. 7, the variance requested is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land or structure. The applicant proposes to build the porch addition to provide a safe place for restaurant customers to wait for service, and it will be no closer to either of the county highways than the existing building. In conclusion, staff recommends that this application meets the standards set forth in the county code. That concludes my report.
Mr. Hanson, would you like to be sworn in? You gotta turn your mic on.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in this case now in hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Would you state your name and address for the record?
Craig Hanson, 25106 North 1750 East Road, Hudson, Illinois.
Did you get that, Phil?
Got it. Thank you.
Would you like to make an opening statement?
No, not really. I mean, we're just trying to, my current steps land a step below the door threshold. So older people have to step up into the building, which is very difficult. So that's one of the big reasons. And then, you know, on the Friday fish fry, we have a lot of patrons that are, when we're busy, waiting outside and just in the parking lot, kids running around, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we just thought it would be a nice way to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. That's all I. And I think it'll look.
Sounds good. Thank you. Would anyone on the board have questions for this witness? How are we
Craig,
gonna handle it?
Craig, will you have any tables out there?
Was there a question for me? I missed.
Will you have any tables out there?
Craig, she asked if there will be tables outside.
Yes, can you hear me? Was there a question?
Craig, Ms. Turner asked if there would be tables outside.
We've thought about it, for people to just kind of sit and wait. That really, I don't know that answer at this point. I haven't got that far.
Then I can just do that.
please.
Well, as an
So at
older
this point,
person who's been there, I can see it is a step up.
Pardon me?
I said, as an older person who's been there a number of times, I remember that step up.
Oh, yeah, it can be very treacherous, to step up into the doorway because the door pulls out also. So you're pulling out, stepping through. It's quite an exercise for.
Right.
Any other questions?
How we doing?
How do we handle the audience part of this? I mean, do we ask for somebody if they're calling in? Are you checking that or?
Yes, ask if anybody has called in to the number that I mentioned earlier, 888-5160, but I don't think, but no one has so far.
Okay. At this time, if somebody was calling in, it'd be a time to ask questions of this witness.
Perfect, thank you.
You'll have to check me, Phil, see how long a minute is.
Okay,
To those two.
yeah, Scott, I meant to ask you what the delay was, and I didn't know it was a minute. I thought it might be like 20 seconds.
Sure.
Then I front.
Oh, you're fine. There's that. All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, I need a jalapeno peppers. Like a dish bag. Yeah.
Okay. At this point, I think, would you like to make a closing statement, Mr. Hanson?
No. Anything to say?
Okay, thank you. Would you, this part of the hearing is closed and we can deliberate on the case.
We're gonna go through the standards, Jim, like we typically do.
That's what I'll do unless we have somebody has a direct question of Phil or something else that's about the case. We'll just go to the standards. So I'll just read them off. Standard 1, standard 2, standard 3. I like this thumbs up. Standard 4, standard 5, standard 6 or 7. I got thumbs up on all of them, so somebody want to make a motion?
I move that we approve case number ZV-20-02.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Turner, a second by Kurtz. Could we have a roll call vote?
And this is a final decision. Taylor,
Yes.
Engert,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Dean,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Finnegan.
Yes. That passed. Phil will tell you what you got to do, Mayor.
Mr. Hanson, the zoning board approved your variance, so we can take a permit for your proposed construction at your earliest convenience. And I'll send you a letter to that effect this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Ready to call the next case, ZV 2003.
This is case number ZV-20-03, application of Jared Zotz for a variance in side yard requirements to allow a proposed livestock shelter to be 50 feet from the property line rather than 150 feet as required in the R1 Single Family Residence District. This is on property in the northeast quarter of Section 32, Township 23 North, Range 3 East of the 3rd Principal Meridian, and located in Old Town Township at 8628 North 2000 East Road, Downs, Illinois. Public notice of this hearing was published in the Panagraph on April 18, 2020, as provided by law. All the other required notifications have been made. As the first exhibit, I'd like to show you the application, which Darrell will put up shortly. Then the second page is the legal description of the property. And a plat map showing where this property is located in Old Town Township, which you'd have all received when we sent out the notices. This is real close to Highway 150 on the way toward Downs on the north side of the road. And a zoning map showing that this property is located in the R1 Single Family Residence District. And the next item is a document that I attached to your staff reports regarding an explanation of how the applicant proposes the standards are met. And a site plan and a legal description or a plat showing the applicant's property and where the proposed barn will be located. And this was also attached to your staff reports if you want to look on those. So it would be 50 feet to the south there. And then the next page shows the type of barn that the applicant proposes to build. And this is a communication from the County Health Department indicating that they're okay with the proposed addition or proposed livestock shelter. And the next page shows the diagram of the septic system on the property, which is north of the house. And then the final board exhibit is the staff report. I'll show the photos at this time. This is an aerial photo of the property. Could you go back one time again to, and you see to the bottom of the photo is, you can barely see it, but it's Highway 150 there. This is Road 2000 East to the right of the property, and that's sometimes called the Tanglewood Road. And the area directly around where this property is located to the south and the west is part of a large residential lot, but it's used for pasture. Okay. And this is kind of the area to the left where this proposed barn will be located. To the left of these trees in this brushed area, that's where the applicant proposes to build it. Okay. And this is a little bit to the north, facing north. That the proposed building is going to be to the east of that existing building, and this is facing west. That shows the existing pole building there. And this is to the side of the building, and it's facing toward where the proposed barn livestock shelter will be located. Okay. And then this is facing north to the back of that existing pole barn, detached shed. And this is facing south, and you can see, but where those pools are in the background, that's Highway 150. And I'll deliver the staff report at this time. The property to the south, east, and west is in the R1 district. The property to the north is in the agriculture district. The surrounding land use to the north is in crop production, to the south and west is in pasture, and to the east is a wooded area. The applicant proposes to build a livestock shelter in which to keep horses. The setback requirement from all property lines for a livestock shelter in the R1 district is 150 feet. Due to the topography and location of existing improvements in the 6-acre subject property, a livestock shelter cannot be reasonably located 150 feet from all property lines. The analysis of the 7 standards are as follows. The physical surrounding shape or topographical condition of the specific property will cause particular hardship to the owner as distinguished from a mere convenience if the strict letter of the regulations were carried out. This 6-acre property is large for a lot in the R1 district. Typical lots are 1/2 to 1 acre in area. The location of the house, a pond, the sloping terrain, and the septic system north of the house make the area of the property that would provide the 150 feet setback very difficult to achieve. The conditions upon which a petition for a variance is based are unique to the property for which the variance is sought and are not applicable generally to other properties within the same zoning classification. The location of a pond, the house, the sloping terrain, and the septic system north of the house make the area of the property that could provide the 150-foot setback very difficult to achieve. The property to the north is in crop production. Properties to the south and west are in pasture. The property across the road to the east is wooded. 3, the purpose of the variance is not based exclusively upon a desire to make more money out of the property. The applicant proposes to use the proposed livestock shelter for the family's horses. 4, the alleged difficulty or hardship is caused by this ordinance and has not been created by persons presently having an interest in the property. The 150-foot setback requirement from all property lines makes it very difficult to locate a livestock shelter on lots in the R1 district. Typical lots in the R1 district are 1/2 to 1 acre in area and are surrounded by typically sized lots. The subject property is 6 acres in area and is surrounded by properties over 19 acres in area. 5, the granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other improvements or property in the neighborhood in which the property is located. The proposed variance will not likely impact adjacent properties since they are agricultural use. The proposed livestock shelter will be 50 feet from the property to the south that is in pasture. 6, the proposed variance will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent property or substantially increase the congestion of the public street or increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety or substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. The proposed livestock shelter will be 50 feet from the property to the south that is in pasture. The variance requested is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land or structure. The applicant proposes to use the proposed livestock shelter for the family's horses. Staff recommends in conclusion that the application meets the standards of the zoning ordinance. And that concludes my report.
Mr. Volz, would you like to be sworn in or affirmed?
Sure, you can swear me in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you should give in this case now and hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name and address for the record?
Jared Zotes at 8628 North 2000 East Road in Downs.
Okay, thank you. At this time, you can make an opening statement.
I guess what we were asking and requesting is that given the surrounding properties are not necessarily zoned agricultural, but are in agricultural use, being surrounded by pasture to the southwest, as well as across the 2000 North Road. To the east is also cow pasture. That we would be essentially asking for the same distance from property boundaries that agricultural use is allowed for, by putting the building 50 feet away from that property boundary. The only boundary that's affecting the two to the south and to the west, I have, which I didn't see that included in the presentation, but I had a letter written and signed by my neighbors, Dr. David Efaw, who owns that pasture and that property. And he has written a letter saying that he is aware and in agreement and was giving permission if that makes any extra help as well. And given those circumstances, I'd really appreciate the variance. So thank you.
Thank you. Would there be questions from the board? Okay, everybody's shaking their head no. At this point, we'll ask for anyone that wants to call in and ask questions of this witness. We're going to give them a minute. Is that right?
I think we can go ahead.
Okay, at this point, if there's no other questions and no testimony, you can make a closing statement if you want to, Mr. Volz.
I don't really have anything else to say other than thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, the hearing is closed and we can go to the standards. That'd be what everybody wants to do. Standard number 1, 2, 3. I like this. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're ready for a motion.
I move that we approve ZV 2003.
I'll second
I'll
that.
second that.
I think he beat you. We got a motion by Kurt, second by Banger. Could we have a roll call vote?
This is a final decision. Taylor,
Yes,
Bangert,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes,
Dean,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Finnegan.
Yes. Motion passes. Phil can fill you in from here.
Mr. Zotes, we can take a permit for this at your earliest convenience. We have a sign off from the health department already. So give us a call in the morning and we can deal with it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Made some little girls very happy. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Down to the last thing we have tonight is something for a continuation. You want to fill us in on that, Phil?
Yes, I will. This is a continuation of that text amendment regarding the letter of credit as a alternative to an escrow account for security for a wind energy system. And we continued it again tonight because according to the governor's order, if cases can be postponed that are somewhat controversial, we should likely do them because it's difficult to have public hearings and public participation when we have cases like this. And so I'm asking as a secretary of the Zoning Board of Appeals, this is an application of the Zoning Board of Appeals to continue this case to the June meeting. But I think that it's very possible it will be continued. I'll need to request to go to the July meeting too. I had thought when I presented this that, well, I had to let everyone know that because there were people who testified. And so I sent them copies of this letter that I would be asking them to continue it until the June meeting. And this requests it to be continued to a time certain. But it may likely be that this should be continued until the July meeting because there's another case that we could likely have in June that I'm discussing with them to continue it until July as well. So I know in this letter, I requested it to be continued until the June 2nd meeting. But if it's okay with you, I would like it to be continued until the July meeting. And that the July meeting would take place on July 7th. So I'm amending my request a little bit. This letter kind of explains why I'm doing it, but I would actually request that we continue it to the July 7th meeting.
I move that we continue it to July 7th meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Zimmerman, a second by Dean. And I guess I would put in there that maybe we would tell those people that it's been continued to the right date so they would know it's not in June.
I'll do that. I'll send them all a letter. Whoever testified at that May 3 meeting, I will send them a letter again.
Okay, I think we can have a vote on this.
Taylor,
Yes.
Bangert,
Yes.
Kurtz,
yes,
Dean,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Finnegan.
Yes. So that passed. I think that's all of our business for tonight, unless Bill has something else he wants to talk to us about.
I would appreciate any comments that you have that would improve our virtual meeting, but I want to congratulate you all for attending this meeting, and we kind of are bearing new ground, and I appreciate your help, and we'll see where it goes.
Please resend the sign on because I had to look it up and it was difficult to get to. So if you could resend the sign on shortly before the meeting, we'd really appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
And Phil, just a heads up, each meeting sign on will be unique. So they can go ahead and lose the one that was for this meeting.
Okay, at this point, the zoning board is closed for the night. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Night.
Don't get in trouble.